What the hell has happened to Overwatch 2? Let's break it down. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the channel. So, this is the question, isn't it? What's going on with Overwatch 2? What the hell has happened to this game? Unfortunately, the game, it would appear, has turned into a giant Skinner box. They're just selling you skins, basically, and that's all they're doing. And guess what, though? They're actually doing it now without adding any of the additional content around it. They basically give you a trailer, sell you the skins. There's no in-game event or any of that stuff. And I would imagine the reason for that is because that's not actually increasing the sales, i.e. it doesn't really matter. Just drop a skin if people like the heroes or the collaborative IP they're working with, then they buy the skin. The problem is, I think it's a little bit creatively bankrupt on Blizzard's part to rely so heavily on external IPs to try and push sales through their game, because that's only going to work for so long, right? Eventually, they're going to run out, and then what do you do then? Anyway, let's take a look at these skins, and we need to break this down, because it's actually a really complicated thing, and it's an overarching issue the game is suffering with, which I think is dictating the entire direction of the game. Let's take a look at this. So this is the trailer for the new Overwatch 2 World of Warcraft crossover event. Now, this is, you know, it's a Blizzard IP, so I'm not completely against this, and I think it's pretty cool, and I kind of wish they'd done more of this in the past. I am going to show you what they have done for Blizzard IPs in the past, because when Blizzard World launched, they actually added skins to the game, and one of them, it is just a recolored one in this pack. Anyway, Widow looks ridiculously good. Let's not, you know, beat around the bush here. This is what Overwatch is known for. It is literally goated. It is the best in the industry with hero designs and all the aesthetics of the heroes, and even with the skins, really. Like, it's absolute top-notch. This Zen skin, yeah, I mean, that's quite questionable. There's a lot of other characters I think Zen would have been, you know, probably made a bit more sense with, but whatever. This Torb skin, though, is literally in the game already. They've just give him a diamond skin, which I believe, apparently, if you play World of Warcraft, that character doesn't even do that anymore. I don't play WoW, so I can't confirm that. Obviously, you've got Reinhardt as the Lich King, which again looks really good as a skin. So, like, yeah, it's okay, it's fine. I'm not against this. This is they've done this with Diablo 4. We will get onto that in the video. But it's like, what are we playing here? What is the game? What is the draw for Overwatch? It's like we've just got new skins for the characters, and we're just going to tie it into one of our existing games. That's okay. That's fine, like I said. But it's when we start going out of that and we start looking at, like, the deranged approach, it would appear, Blizzard have got when it comes to things like, you know, Porsche and stuff like that, which generally, oh, well, I say generally, but straight up don't really make much sense, like what's going on there. It's like the madness of I don't know what the team would be, whether it's like marketing, product design, I don't know. There'll be some corporate team that's pushing all of this stuff. It's like, what are they doing? What the hell is going on? So take a look at this, right? This is the cosmetics trailer for the, well... I love this. So, but basically, this is the trailer for when Blizzard World was added to the game back in 2018. And yeah, there's a bunch of Blizzard World related skins. We've got the Crusader Reinhardt skin, really cool. A lore related skin. This is what I want Blizzard to do, not rely on external IPs to push their frigging game. They should be building their own in-game world and giving us lore related stuff in the world, which makes us want to play the game more. But they don't do that because whatever. But that Reinhardt skin was an example of that. But then these two here, right? So, and these as well. And these, like Diablo-inspired ones. You had StarCraft, you had Diablo. You have World of Warcraft. It's just so cool, right? That's really cool. It felt organic and it felt awesome. And it was to celebrate Blizzard World being put into the game. It wasn't to celebrate the expansion of another game. It was just Overwatch celebrating the games that are also made by the company that makes Overwatch. And that's what made it cool and what makes it markedly different from what we're getting now, where it's just like, we're going to use this game as a marketing vehicle to advertise another game, which I'm not totally against because they still own these IPs, so fair enough. But it's a different taste it leaves in the mouth. That's the issue. So look at this tweet here. This is an Overwatch streamer called Boga. I think a high-level player. But basically, look at what he says. Cool skins, but I feel like every update is just more skins, and I just want more silly fun patches to play around with. I mean... yeah, and there's actually a response to this from one of the developers who says, "Girl, our team only makes art, not your precious, silly, funny patches. DM Aaron." So, like, you know, whatever. But that's just tongue-in-cheek, a bit of fun, a bit of a joke. But I think this sentiment makes sense, right? Because it's like, okay, here's another Overwatch update. It's just more skins. It isn't what actual players of the game want, right? But it's what people are buying who maybe are not playing the game as religiously as people used to do in the past. Instead, it's like, oh, there's an Overwatch update. Yeah, I've got thousands of hours in that game because I've played it for 7 years or whatever. I'm acting as the average player. So then they're like, you know what? Actually, I quite like that IP, whether that's One Punch Man, Transformers, the Seraphim, whatever. You know what? I'm going to drop in and buy that. And then they get a sale. The problem is that's incentivizing just making more of this kind of stuff. It's not actually incentivizing adding cool stuff to the game that, you know, that expands the game and is making the game more fun. It's just, here's a cosmetic, go and buy it. And the problem with that is you end up looking at Blizzard as a whole and you start seeing areas getting scaled back where it's like, we don't need maybe this many members in this team because actually we want to expand this team because they're the ones making the revenue and the money. But it's like, where's the long-term, you know, health or lifespan of such an activity? You can't just build a game on cross-collaborative IP events. Surely you cannot, right? And when I say events, I just mean skins. There's literally, they're not even adding events when they do this anymore. It's just, here's a skin, go and buy it for an extortionate amount of money. It's quite crazy. So on the subject of quite crazy and Phil Spencer continuing to reduce the staff numbers at Activision Blizzard after they essentially said they weren't going to do that to the FTC, but then they're like, whatever, we're just going to do it anyway because that's the way corporate America rolls. But take a look at this, right? So this is a tweet from Sydney King, and they say, it's been an amazing 2 years with Blizzard's SFD. That means Story and Franchise Development team. Unfortunately, I was impacted by another round of layoffs today. If you have open positions in game writing or narrative design, send them my way. Now, this is not specifically Overwatch related, but Story and Franchise Development is a team that works across all the Blizzard games. So obviously, what it says in the title, to try and develop their stories and push them forward. Now, you can think, okay, well, Overwatch 2 has literally deleted its PvE. It doesn't really care about any kind of major stories with characters anymore. All it's doing is the little fun interactions with voice lines and a little bit of basic backstory when they launch a hero and a little sort of cinematic trailer that they drop to announce a hero. The origin stories. That's literally it. That's the law you're getting with Overwatch. Yeah, over time, there'll be loads of these interactions between heroes and it's kind of cool to see it and whatever. And Overwatch kind of pioneered that approach. But there's no deeper story. So on the one hand, you can say, well, of course, people like this don't really have maybe much use with Overwatch, although Sydney worked with Blizzard, not just Overwatch. But the big issue here is, again, it's more layoffs. I mean, there were 650 people laid off in the recent round of layoffs. And this sort of goes back into that whole narrative of me thinking about Microsoft taking over Blizzard, thinking, you know what, maybe they're going to let them cook. Because I firmly believe there are people in that Overwatch team, you know, the likes of your Aaron Keller. I mean, even I know this for a fact, like Aaron Keller, right? He is a diehard Overwatch guy, right? He was there from the days of Titan. He's diehard old Blizzard. He wants to give you a really good game. But he's in a ridiculously difficult situation where he's got like all of these pressures on him. The game's gone free to play. People are shoving these collaborative events at them. They're shoving these skins at them. You've got to get this out the door. You've got to get that out the door. They're trying to do things, but they're very restrictive because of what the game or the product has become. And that's the issue. You know, you can go around and say this, and I've said it time and time again. I'm going to say it again. Overwatch is like a good game, but a bad product, and they're just really dropping and sort of drilling down on that bad product nature to get as much money out of the game as they possibly can with not much of a long-term prospectus. I think that's the issue I've got. I don't feel like Overwatch is evolving. I feel like it's just the same game. Yeah, there'll be different game modes, which they have added, you know, so I'm not just totally saying they're just adding skins. They add new heroes, but that's all you're getting. You're just going to get a new game mode every now and again, a new hero. You're not getting any further development of the game. It's not pushing any boundaries. That's just what the game's going to be. And guess what? There's going to be collaborative events with loads of expensive skins pretty much every single season, just coming in all of the time, whether it's at the start of the season, mid-season, or the end of the season. They're going to hit you with these skins. And this leans into the whole thing of how big does your team actually have to be if you're going to run a skinner box as a game? Because Overwatch, now I'm going to say this again, and it's not even a hot take, right? I'm tired of saying this, but I'm going to say it again. It is not even, yeah, I know it's 5v5. I know there's a whole host of balance changes, but fundamentally, it is still Overwatch. I know it was 6v6, and I know there was, you know, different balance changes, different game modes and whatever, but fundamentally, it is the same game, right? There is not major, massive differences to the game. It is still Overwatch 1. So all Overwatch 2 has really done is turn the game free to play and then give them an excuse to shove it full of like really expensive cosmetics and skins, which is all they've really done with the game. And how many people do you need to do that? Because you don't need massive teams to redevelop the game. You're just adding a new hero. You've got a bunch of people working on balance. You've got, you know, your various server engineers, your software engineers, whatever, that are keeping the game running. That's all you really need. And Blizzard also farm out a lot of their work on their skins to a studio in Germany. I forgot the name of them off the top of my head, but there's a studio in Germany they work with. Blizzard still do the concept art and send it to them, but they're basically making the skin. So it's like, well, actually, like if you're Microsoft and you're not going to let Blizzard cook, you're not going to let them go back to the days of make something brilliant, guys, because you know what? Microsoft is literally worth trillions of dollars, and Blizzard is like a footnote in their goddamn bookkeeping. Like it's like an error, a rounding error that they don't even care. You know what I mean? But they do, because they're like, no, this needs to make money. It needs to run as a business. We can't just have a bloated thing that maybe isn't making as much money as it could. But look at this. We've got this thing called Overwatch 2, and we can run this like a little Skinner box, and we don't need many people for that. So I'm going to, fuck it. I'm going to go out on a limb. I reckon Blizzard, over the next, couple of years, we're going to see them scale down on this. It's not going to increase in size. There's not going to be added people to Blizzard, to the Overwatch team, sorry, to make the game. It'll just be reduced in size, made streamlined, and it'll just be left as it is. And that is the product that you're going to get. There was rumors recently of a new FPS RPG game in development at Blizzard. I think one of the lead producers that worked on Overwatch 2 has gone over to that team in Blizzard. So yeah, maybe there's some other Overwatch game in development. I'd be very surprised if it was Overwatch related, because obviously the disaster with PvE and whatever. But the fact is, Overwatch is a universe with very relatable characters and very unique characters, and the style of the characters is awesome. That really, they should have been building on it. And we know they tried to do it with PvE and it just didn't work at all. But there's got to be something they can do with it, right? This game is bigger and better than a friggin' Skinner box. That is just, it's depressing. It is literally depressing when I look at the state of the game. I'm like, what's going on here, guys? Well, what the hell? Okay, so talking to collaborations, this is the latest one. I'm not entirely sure what the details are with this, but it's Overwatch 2 Red Tokyo Tower. And this is the key art, which I'm going to throw up here. Now, this is, I think it's the tower in Tokyo, the literal red tower in Tokyo. It's something to do with that. It's some sort of event at the place. I don't know. I don't think this is an in-game thing, but they've clearly got concepts here for skins. Will these be added to the game? I don't know. But it's like Red Tower Tokyo collaborative event. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at Le Seraphim, because yeah, they're back. Look at this. Right. This was added to the game recently. So this is Le Seraphim. They're back. You can buy their skins again. Now I'm pretty sure that when this dropped in. Was it November last year? It was at BlizzCon time last year. This was the most money Overwatch 2 had ever made in that period of time. It shot to the top sellers of Steam. It was just making absolute ridiculous amounts of money, hand over fist, and this probably convinced all of the people working in the product departments to go, holy shit, we just need to do more of this with Overwatch 2, because this is the way forward. We're going to make the game make money. Obviously, that has no impact on the game itself, and it doesn't incentivize developing the game, just incentivizes making more friggin' skins. But anyway, look at this, right? So it's just Le Seraphim coming back. Now, they do say it's to celebrate 100 million views on the video, the music video, Perfect Night. Now, this might have just been in the contract anyway, right? And I'm pretty sure it was, because they put so much effort into these skins, they were always going to come back. Which, again, is another thing, right, guys? You're never going to get skins in this game which are fully unique. They will always come back. There will always be a skin which comes back. They will try and tease you and go, oh, you know what? This skin's going to be limited time only. Oh, yeah, you can only buy it limited time only, which is what these skins were initially thought to be, the Le Seraphim ones. So people go and buy them. Actually, no, they're coming back next year. They're coming back. Don't worry. And there's no difference to these skins as well, right? I believe in some games like Dota 2, they're quite clever, where the initial run of a skin is slightly different to the the rerun of a skin. So you know if someone's got a rerun compared to your original one. So again, that kind of incentivizes you to buy the original one, right? It's a scummy tactic, whatever. But yeah, this thing with Blizz here, it is Le Seraphim, FOMO, which they do with all of their skins. They love fucking FOMO all day. God, you best buy this, guys. It's going to go out the store. But guess what? 8 months later, it's back in the store. Booyah! I don't know. I fucking hate it. I just hate that shit. But that's what it is. So let's take a look at these collaborative events that Overwatch has done. It's a lot. Like, you will be shocked how many events they've actually done. The first one we'll start off with is the Overwatch Transformers collaboration. So this was the collaboration where, again, there was no game mode in this. It was just the skins. Go and buy them if you want. I think their excuse was this came out at the time of Summer Games. So it's like, oh no, we've got Summer Games modes that you can play, whatever. Well, basically, this was a bunch of Transformers inspired skins, right? So if you're a fan of Transformers and Overwatch, yeah, you might start paying for these. I guess as well, the other issue with these collaborative events is there's going to be some sort of revenue cut, or Blizzard are paying an amount up front for the usage of these IPs. I mean, it might even be both. It might even be Blizzard pay X million dollars to get the IP, and then they have to spend, give them a percentage of whatever the sales end up being, right? That's probably what goes on. I don't know how these departments work, but yeah. But it was just Transformers skins in the game. Fair enough, right? I like Transformers, and you know, I like Optimus Prime, so I can get it. I can be like, okay, fine. I get why people like these skins, but like I said, and I've said multiple times in this video, guys, this isn't adding anything to the game, is it? It's just literally a friggin' skin. It's like, you can like it as much as you like. The game isn't really evolving. It's just wasted effort in that direction, at least in my opinion. Now, this is one I can agree with, bringing a skin back. This is the Mercy. Pink Mercy returned, and they did do the thing where there was a slightly different version of the newer skin, or if you had the original Pink Mercy, you could upgrade it to the Rose Gold Mercy, I think they called it. This is fine, right? It's a cancer research, it's a charity skin, it's fine. Like, I'm all for this, and they should have done a lot more of this over the years. You know, this is where their efforts should be going with collaborative events, not fucking, let's do One Punch Man, let's do some shit, like, just to get money, let's do Le Seraphim or whatever. It's like, come on, guys, what are we doing? You know what I mean? It's just, it is depressing. But this was good, and I completely, fully support this. So, you know, top job, Blizzard, on this one. This next one is literal madness to me, right? The best thing about this Porsche collab was looking at the YouTubers who were promoting it. I was like, and the streamers, these guys, like, take the bag. Honestly, just take the bag. If it's there, take the bag. But I mean, oh my days, this was like the most disconnected collab that they've done so far. And it's almost like I can't wait to see what the new collabs are, to see how mental they go. This, to me, it struck me as like some marketing manager dickhead who's sitting there, or a product manager, or whatever the hell these people are that come up with this, has gone, yeah, man, hey, man, I've got a GT-RS 911 fucking 6829364. I love my Porsches. God damn, you know what? I reckon we can do a deal with Porsche. Holy shit. Something like that, probably. And then contacted Porsche, or Porsche, however you want to say it, and goes, you know what? Let's do a collaboration. Hey, we're futuristic. You're trying to sell an electric Macan. Let's put that in our game as a skin for Diva, and then people will buy it. What the fuck, Blizzard? You know what I mean? What the fuck, Blizzard? Do you know how much Porsches cost? A 911 is like 100 grand, right? What? I mean, I know a Macan isn't 100 grand, but what Overwatch players are like, ah, yes, I will buy a Porsche. Oh, God. Oh, yes. I don't think the demographics exactly meet. But here's the thing. This was probably just a, hey, Porsche are looking for exposure to a certain age demographic, and Blizzard are like, hey, we've got that age demographic, let's say 20 to 35, 20 to 40, whatever. We've got them playing our game, so let's just expose them to your brand, and they'll love it, and we'll give them a cool skin that they can play with, and they can buy it with money, and then you'll get some money for it, Porsche, if that was the deal. It's just like, what? It was crazy. Like, what? When I first learned of this collaboration, I just was laughing my ass off. I was like, what the hell is this? It's just insanity. Then we had Cowboy Bebop. This was just skins as well. It wasn't any game mode. It was like, hey, here's some skins. Just go and buy them. If you like Cowboy Bebop, it would have the same effect on you that the Transformers one had on me, right? It's like, oh, yeah, I like this. I'm going to get Spike or whatever, right? Yeah, it's just like whatever. Like, this isn't a major update. It isn't really something to be talking about. It's just adding skins into the game. But Blizzard are focusing on this because it is the major update for the game, because that's what the game is, and that's what's driving me crazy. I'm like, come on, Blizzard, what are you doing? Oh. So the next one was Le Seraphim. Now, this, like I said, is probably the biggest one. Now, you've got to remember, right? Again, think of what Blizzard spent on this motherfucker. I'm swearing a lot in this video. I do apologize. But spent on this motherfucker of a collab. It had a fully animated short. This, when I seen it, as soon as it started rolling, I was like, oh no, it's game over. Oh no. Like, oh no. They are spending money now on trailers to sell skins. They are not using them to show off a new game mode or a new hero or, you know, all of that stuff. And I cannot imagine the Le Seraphim animated trailer generated as much for Blizzard as the goddamn Dragons trailer did, you know, or any of the animated shorts, but especially the bigger viewed ones. Like, what the hell, Blizzard? But as soon as I seen it, I knew it was game over. I knew they're just diverting their funds now to this kind of thing. This is why we're not going to get animated shorts. I know we got one for Sojourn with the invasion stuff, but I don't think we're going to get any more. The next animated short will be whatever happens at the end of this year for their big collab, because it's quite clear what they're doing is having a massive collab where they're putting all the resources into it, and then throughout the year they have these like smaller collabs with, you know, no game mode, just skins, bang 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 bang, But then there'll be a big, massive collab with some sort of IP, which has got a massive animated short, has got a like all of the associated stuff that goes with it. They're paying a shitload of influencers to promote it, and they're just going crazy, right? It's like, what? Like, it's mental. But it is also sad, and I hope you guys can get my point of view, and maybe it's your point of view as well. But it's like, I don't want... I mean, it doesn't matter what I want now, because the game is totally gone from wherever I wanted the game to go. But it's like, I don't want them spending their time and effort just to market skins from another brand. I want them to work on their own game. I want them to develop Overwatch 2 in a way that is meaningful to us as players, not just... You know, like, I play Overwatch, right? I don't like K-pop. Shock horror there. I didn't even know what La Seraphim was when it dropped. I was like, what the hell is this? I would prefer something that was in the game, something that was in-game story related. This even extends to things like the seasonal events. You know, I always wished they would always stay in lore, you know, not just going, oh, well, it's Valentine's Day, so we're just going to have one now, or it's Christmas. I know there was always the Winter Veil event, but it's like, yeah, it's Christmas at Winter Wonderland, I should say. It's like, yeah, that's fine. You know, it is Christmas. People do expect that kind of event. But, like, Archives was a good example of their own sort of special event, which they just seem to have, like, that just is gone. Like, that's not going to be a thing, I'd imagine. It's sad. Honestly, it friggin' is sad. I don't want to think about it. It's sad. Then next up, I believe we had Diablo 4. So this was for the launch of, well, Diablo 4. There was an in-game event, which did have a gameplay mode. I'll give them that. Very bare bones, but it looks like they were using various assets from the cancelled PvE, which was kind of cool to see. But they just added a bunch of Diablo skins, which were massively expensive as well at the time. But obviously this was to promote Diablo 4, and this is what they're doing. You know, if there's a major expansion to Warcraft, expect a Warcraft-themed update to Overwatch. If there's a new Blizzard game that comes out, expect an Overwatch paid promo thing for it. It's like, it's insane, right? But, you know, some of these skins, like I said, the skins themselves are still pretty much top tier for the most part. They're still really good skins, but it's just sad to me that this is all the game seems to have been distilled down into. Yeah. And then we got the first one, which was One Punch Man. This was the first teased crossover event that they've done. It was a big moment, I think, for Blizzard, because no IP had really worked with them beyond, I think, Lego way back in Overwatch 1 did a Bastion skin. And because obviously there was a bunch of Lego kits that had all of the Overwatch characters, or various different characters. I think I've got a Bastion one, and there's like a Reinhardt one and stuff like that. Pretty cool, though. But that's why there was a Lego skin in the game. But that was just earnable in an event. It wasn't like you had to buy the skin. Anyway, One Punch Man is the first sort of like major crossover they've done. And yeah, it was... I remember around this, there was all the talk about Blizzard saying, no, this isn't just putting their characters into our game. Our characters are cosplaying as their characters. And I think what that was, is it was a whole load of communication that was... Again, I'm going out on a limb here, but it was probably forced through by the devs themselves, because they really wanted to push the fact that this isn't them just letting go of their game and going, okay, we now have no ideas for the game, we're just going to take other IPs and slam them into our game. It was them saying, no, we're going to take our characters and adapt them to whatever the IP is. That's what we're going to do, and we're going to do it in a way that feels right for us, and it's a big step for us, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. The problem is the floodgates opened at that point, and it was like, no, this has made us a ton of money, because I assume it did. So we're going to do it again and again and again and again. And we're seeing now with these newer collabs, probably the Porsche one is the best example, where it's just devoid of anything. It's literally just slapping a brand in the game. It's like, what's going to be next? A Coke skin? Are we going to have like Coca-Cola Zarya? I don't know why we'd have Coca-Cola Zarya, but we're going to have that. It's like, what? Well, where does this go? Like, where does this end? Like, it's mental. It's clear to me that they've got a mandate of a number of these collaborative events they need to do. And it is... You know, like, I know I'm ranting this video, but whatever, what the F, let's do it. You look at a game like Fortnite, I'm going to go out there and say this, Fortnite is completely and utterly devoid of any kind of, like, character development. I know there's, like, some characters in the game or whatever, but the way the game's designed, it's almost built to have collaborative stuff. Overwatch is, like, completely opposite to that. It's got very strong characters, very strong world, which is totally neglected for the easy cash grab that all the suits have seen happen with Fortnite, and that's what they've gone for. It's shit. It's actually shit, and it's so sad. So where do we go from here? Right? This is a question at the end of my mad rant of a video. Like, what else happened to Overwatch 2? Well, the fact is, the game is still the only hero shooter you can actually play that's got any sort of support behind it, right? That's PvP and 5v5, let's say. Until maybe Marvel Rivals comes out at the end of the year. That could be disruptive to Overwatch. I don't know. But it's like it's for so long has survived off the strength of its hero designs and its gameplay, which really, beyond the new heroes that have been added in Overwatch 2, hasn't really changed that much in the grand scheme of things from 2016. Like, I know, whatever, 6v6 is gone, it's 5v5, all that shit, but it's like, it still essentially is the same game, right? The core of the game is basically the same, hasn't really changed, it's just carried on through time. How long can that continue? This is my question. Like, and how will we know when things are maybe going to change, right? Well, I reckon there's a couple of things you can look at. I reckon if we start seeing things like, hey, there's now a creator code in the game. Now, that's a very interesting thing, right? So if that, I mean, this is if this happens, if it don't, whatever. This is a bit wild speculation on my part. But if something like that happens, the only reason that would happen is because Blizzard is not happy with how much money it's making off skin sales, right? So while they're making good sales, making good money, there's no world in which they would share that money with a creator or somebody with a code, right? There's no way, because it's like an affiliate code the way it works, yeah? I'm sure you guys know how creator codes work. But the moment they say, no, we've got this in Overwatch, it's because their skin sales have dropped so low that they're willing to give a portion of the revenue of those sales to external agencies, which would be creators, to try and increase the overall sales. So it's like things like that I look for when I look at Overwatch. I think, what are we going to see that's different? And when I look back at the launch of Overwatch 2, it's like it goes free to play completely. I get that because, you know, you want to get players into the game. They monetize with all the cookie cutter, like just complete crap battle pass systems and all of that, and expensive store, and we're just sort of dealing with that. But then it's like, what's the next step? Well, the next step in that plan is, hey, look, Fortnite have done collaborative content. Let's just do that. So they do that. And then they're like, well, let's take it to another level. Let's do it properly, putting our Blizzard effort behind it. And you get something like the Seraphim. Yeah, it's fine, but it's like using the resources that would be used on the game to just make skins for said game. And it's like, okay, where do we go from here? Then we see Porsche. And I think with the Porsche or the Porsche, whatever you want to say, I always flip between the two, but I generally say Porsche because I'm common. But like, that is just literally slapping a logo in the game. And it feels so utterly disconnected. I think, like, you know, part of me likes to think all of the guys that worked on OG Overwatch and essentially built the game, I don't think any of them have sat there and gone, this is a great idea, let's put it in the game. They would have fought tooth and nail to say, we are not having that shit in our game. Get that out of here. But of course, as we all know, Overwatch 1 had a load of problems and, you know, crazy design decisions with trying to make PvE work, and then all of the behind-the-scenes stuff that happened, and, you know, we end up where we are today. But it is, I don't know, it just feels like I look at Overwatch and I feel like you've got a game there, Blizzard, that is very strong off the strength of its hero designs and its core gameplay, because no one else has ever tried to come into this. I mean, okay, Concord tried recently, but they totally failed. But, like, no one has ever really come into that, like, sphere of influence and tried to really knock them off their perch, because maybe they just don't want to. Maybe it would take too long to develop a game similar to that. But then the question becomes, are there other games out there that players of Overwatch will go and play? Will they go and play a Deadlock? Will they go and play a Marvel Rivals? And is this just going to be a sort of death by 1,000 cuts for Overwatch? Because me as a, like, you know, I think I'm confident in saying this, but it's like one of the most die-hard fans of the game ever, right? I mean, ever. I feel so, like, let down with the current state of the game. I'm just like, I am becoming the dreaded apathetic. The apathy is flowing through me. I just don't care. And that's not what Blizzard want, right? I'm not saying they care about me, but what I'm trying to say is, like, that type of mentality, if you just end up not caring, it's very hard to get you to start caring again. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments below. In terms of Overwatch itself, I am still excited for hero launches. I am still excited to check out, like, when a new game mode is added. But I don't think skins are never going to be something that's going to make me rush back to play the game. It might make me open the game and look at the skin, but it's not making me go in and play tons of the game, which is, I guess, the issue, right? Maybe you guys are the same, maybe you ain't. Let me know in the comments below. All right, guys, I've been Stylosa, and this has been, well, I guess, a mad rant on what's happened to Overwatch 2. All right, guys, I'll catch you lovely lot on the next video. Remember, if you did enjoy this, do subscribe to the channel. Follow me on everything, which is @Stylosa, and I really am tired, and I'm off to bed. Goodbye.